Something like 50% of people are still working. We're working from home. We're not as productive as we used to be, but we are still working. On the positive side, we can say that redundancies are low, even though there have been 1.4 million claims for universal credit. So those claims have jumped up quite rapidly. Most of those are coming from people whose work was temporary and insecure. So we're not seeing large numbers of people with permanent jobs losing their jobs. And that's good news. It has been suggested that we could, in some areas, restart businesses. So if you are lucky enough to live in a region where there's relatively little disease, were we to know that, then the argument is that so long as you do not have to travel far to go back to work, and so long as you can practice safe social distancing, maybe, I suspect this is coming, you can also wear some sort of facial protection, then yes, you could probably go back to work with a certain amount of safety. However, that's really not enough to restart the economy. The economy is driven by supply, and it's driven by demand. So supply comes from workers getting back and working. Households, firms are driving most of demand in the UK. Households and firms at the moment, it's pretty clear, are nervous. They don't really know where things are going, and therefore they're going to be reluctant to embark on large-scale spending plans. So that leaves a large gap in terms of demand, and really the only way to fill that gap is government expenditure. So even over the next 6 months, beyond the next 6 months, there's going to be a major role for government expenditure driving the level of demand that's going to make it worthwhile for firms to recall workers and restart production. I think it's important that governments dispel any idea that their support could end soon, because if you're a business who's struggling and you think that you can survive for the next month or so on government support, but then you worry that that support is going to be withdrawn, then you're going to be less likely to make the effort of carrying on. So I think it's inevitable these schemes will be rolled over until we get clear of this problem. And I think it's important that governments step up and just make that clear to firms so that firms are much less likely to give up rather than carrying on.